Hey Scrappers, it's Vanessa here with another scrapbook process video. And today we are going to put a layout together using mostly scraps and some white cardstock as a background and a cut file. And so the first thing that I'm doing here is taking some Distress Oxide, and I'm doing probably one of my most favorite techniques with Distress Oxide is just to take my blending brush and to put some color on my backgrounds. I love this because it's very easy mixed media. It doesn't require drawing time. I can get to creating my layout right away, and I don't have to clean anything up afterwards. It's a very simple technique, but it adds a lot of interest, and I love that cloudy effect that it gives to my backgrounds. And so that is what you see me doing here. I'm just going through each of those colors that I showed at the beginning and sort of just laying down the color, just getting a good mixture of the greens and teals and blues throughout my background. As you can see, I'm going back and adding a little bit more of that teal blue color, just to give a good balance of color across the page. I didn't want a ton of that citrusy, limey green color. I just wanted a little hint of that. And so I really wanted to go for the green, the teal and the blues, I should say. So there you see is my completed background. This case, I did not put any water on it at all. I just wanted to keep it really simple. So once I had that done, I did go to my stash, and this layout is going to be using a cut file. And so I am taking my little worm cut file. Now this little worm came from the Silhouette Cut store, I believe, the online Silhouette Cut store. And if you want to know the number for him, just let me know. I'll see if I can find it. I think I just searched for worm or outside or something like that. Or maybe I was looking for school stuff. I can't really remember how I found him. But I thought he was really cute. He actually has nothing to do with my photos, but other than the fact that my photos are outside. I just wanted to have a cut file on this layout and found him and thought he was kind of cute. So all I'm going to show you is just the backing of this first one, but basically all of those pattern papers that I showed at the beginning, I just went through and backed the worm with just a gradient of each of those colors all the way through the worm, starting with the green, going to the white, and then transitioning into the blues, and covered that entire little worm cut file. So he's going to take up a good portion of the layout. So other than that, I did off camera go ahead and fussy cut those butterflies from that one piece of butterfly paper from the Happiness collection. I will definitely say that butterfly paper is one of my absolute favorite pieces of paper. I'm sad that the other side has a wood grain background, which again is something else I love. I really hate when they put two beautiful patterns on back to back because I have such a hard time cutting into it. I really wanted to use the wood grain side, but I can't pass up those beautiful butterflies. So needless to say, I went through and cut out all of the blue and the yellow, or the blue and the green and the lighter blue butterflies on that piece of pattern paper, and so those are going to make it onto the layout. Other than that and the worm, I kept most of the other embellishment, as you will see, pretty simple. Now I am using two photos on this layout, and they are both in a 4x4 size. And so what I did first is I've gone ahead and taken just some light blue tissue paper, and I am going to back my photos with that light blue tissue paper first. And then I'm going to take these other scraps. Again, this entire layout for pattern paper, the entire layout is created with scraps. I just went through my green and my blue scraps and just pulled a combination of colors that I thought worked really well together. And that's how I built this entire layout. So none of these papers that I'm backing my two photos with are a full 4x4, so I'm basically just cutting them down and just going to have them sort of peek around the edges of the photo. So it's a great way to use up those scraps that you have, because you don't need just to back your photos, you don't need it to go all the way around your photo. You can add some interest by just having it layer like I'm doing here with just a bit of the edge peeking out around your photo, it still gives a nice full look to your photo mats. And so here you see I'm just going to finish layering some papers behind my photo. I think I end up not using that other piece of blue pattern paper that I pulled out. I just back it with this other piece of lime green pattern paper. So I'm going to finish that here. These photos are of my son and my husband, and this was the first time that we had taken the kids to play miniature golf. And so the first photo is my husband showing my son how to go about hitting the miniature golf ball, and then the other is a picture of my son, and he has taken a shot. And so these I thought were really cute pictures, and for some reason, like I said, the worm actually has really nothing to do with the pictures other than the fact that we're outside and the worm is really cute, but I couldn't resist putting him on this layout. And so this is a good example of your cut file doesn't actually have to have or match the theme. You can use a random, kind of just like a random embellishment. You can use a random cut file on your layout and still have it look cute and fun. I like the whimsical and playful nature of putting the worm on there when there's really nothing to do with butterflies. Well, I guess there's butterflies, but again, other than it being outside, that's the only reason. So there you see, this is pretty much how the design for the layout is going to go. My cut file is going to go in between the two photos, and then the butterflies are going to go in a diagonal from the bottom right, flying up and off the page to the top left. Now I am just going to fiddle around here, and for quite a while I fuss around with how I want to place sort of just the bits and pieces that I pulled for this layout. All of the embellishments basically are coming from my August stash kit. None of the pattern papers except for the butterfly pattern paper came from my August stash kit, but most of the embellishments are actually coming from that August stash kit, and I don't use a huge amount of embellishments either. Like I said, that cut file really is my main embellishment for this page, but I did grab a few of these clear stickers from the Happiness collection, and I'm going to put those in a couple of places on the layout that kind of just blend into the background, so it just adds just a little subtle interest, but nothing that really takes away from the pictures or the cut file or the overall design for the page. So I just kind of liked the added touch that those gave. Now, that little awesome word that's down below the worm, that will actually not stay on the layout, but it does sort of make its way around the page for a little bit before I decide that I do not like it. So while I'm trying to figure out what else I want to do for this layout, I am going to spell out my title. And I'm using this multicolored font that I used in my August stash kit. And I have such a hard time with these multicolor fonts, but I'm really trying to force myself to use it. And so I decided to spell the first word of my title, which is learning, in the blues and the greens from that font. And then I'm taking this white font and I'm going to put the word the in the white. And so right now I'm just taking my wax paper and trying to figure out, okay, where do I want to put my title and how do I want to lay this out so that you can still, because I want my learning or the learning word of the title to go on top of the first photo. So I needed to figure out a way that you could still read learning, but my cut file could still stay in between my two photos. So I'm kind of playing with sort of the layout of how I want that to look. So I do have it, the antenna for the little worm is kind of covering a few of the letters, but not enough that you can't read what the word says. So here is how the title ends up going. I put learning over there, and then the game I end up putting over on top of my second photo. And so I thought that's kind of a fun title. It definitely goes with what's happening in the pictures. My son's learning how to play miniature golf, and so I thought it worked pretty well for this title. Now I am going to go ahead and lay everything back out. Now that I've got my title and made room for that on the layout, I am going to place all the butterflies back throughout the layout as you see here, and take just a few other bits and pieces and sprinkle those throughout the layout. In a moment here, I am going to grab a stamp, and you're going to see I'm going to stamp a few sentiments on the background. And so I think, yeah, that's what I'm grabbing right here. And it is a stamp set from Ali Edwards. It was one of her story stamps. I used to subscribe to her story stamps. And so this is one from one of the months. I don't remember which one, but the little one says Little Memories. And then I can't remember what this other stamp says. You'll be able to see it in the close-ups at the end, but I thought it was really cute. I will probably put my journaling for this one right underneath the photo of my son and my husband. So I put some stamping there underneath the worm, and then once I was happy with that, I basically just went off camera and glued everything down. And as a finishing touch for the layout, I just pulled out from the sequins that I had pulled to use in my August stash kit. I just went through the different sequin packages that I had and pulled out all of the green, or not all of the green, but an assortment of the green, the teal, and the navy blue sequins that were in the pack. And those I'm going to just sprinkle throughout, sort of in the same diagonal as the butterflies are on the layout. And so with that, it'll be my finishing touch for this layout. And so the still photos are coming up. So guys, I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you on the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.